we will reconvene the workshop, the budget workshop. Speak, Amber. All right, so we left off with senior services.
I need some help. 'Cause I haven't done a budget in this way before. Sorry, that was me again. So what's this? Department head.
Yeah.
Okay. So the 23 audited numbers, where are they?
I have a couple more comments to go through on the financial statements. But Shelby had emailed to you the 2023 final numbers that are in the same format as our budget. I'll
Okay.
get you a draft of the financial statements, but it does not go to this level of detail. So
Okay.
you want to see what Shelby sent us instead.
She sent me that. She sent me the salaries compiled. I mean, what's missing here normally is you have a column that says year before, year we're in, projected, current actual, and then you have projected. And so we're missing that first column.
Okay, we can add that.
And so the world hasn't seen it yet either.
Correct.
Okay.
This presentation has been the presentation for 20 years or more. But yeah, I often have the 2020, the prior year on the side to look at.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I haven't done a budget without those numbers on the sheet.
Yeah, I mean, I usually have it next, handy, but we can, I don't know how much work that would be, Shelby, to cut and paste and.
Yeah, not fun.
Okay. Yeah, we could include those numbers, especially
Yeah.
as we get to the end.
Yeah.
That's kind of critical.
You're like the first person to ask for that.
Really? That's great. I've never done a budget without it. In fact, I'm about to do yacht club budget, and that's how we do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I always have it handy. In one of my spreadsheets, I had dropped in those numbers in different places when I was working for the past few weeks.
Bring the right book. Yes.
I guess my one thought with doing it that way, it's fine and I'll be able to do it, but I'm just thinking like at the end of the year, the contract accountants do like a bunch of journal entries. I know that's been brought up before, like why do we always have so many journal entries at the end of the year or the start of the new year? And it's usually to clean up
Fix stuff.
the lines. Right, so do you understand what I'm saying? Like,
Completely accurate.
yeah, kind of like this way is like really what's been spent. Whereas if we add in a 2023 column, we might be taking from other pieces to like fit, yeah.
Although if we're
But
doing
they're
the
audited in the
if we're-
final.
if we're doing the actual numbers, so not the modified budget.
Right, okay.
Yes, let's just do the actual numbers.
Actuals.
Yeah, because the modified budget, that's when the cleanup occurs and,
Mm-hmm.
whereas actual will just give us.
What
like,
was
okay, this is-
actually spent,
This is
okay.
what was spent or encumbered.
Okay.
I mean, maybe here's an example of where I was getting haywired. Okay, year before, especially the year before, we had like the COVID money, we had grant money. And I'm curious to see if there was spending locked in because we had those funds and the spending is now recurring, but the income is not recurring.
That
So-
didn't happen.
No, we didn't do that.
Yeah.
But we need to see it. To see that.
Yeah. I mean, you'll be able to take a look at that, but that did not happen because it was one-time use money. And so we did not spend it on anything that would be recurring.
Okay.
Okay.
And the way it's
That's just why it's important.
Yeah, yeah, no, because I agree, because for the fire district, when I present for the fire commissioners, I have like 5 years prior data that I just keep rolling forward so that they can see what the trend lines are for.
Yeah. Okay, what page are you on, sorry?
15, nutrition, I think.
Yeah,
We
nutrition.
stopped at nutrition.
Why can't I find the link?
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you said you had some comments.
Yeah, and I had an issue with this computer last time too, which is why I was like, huh? Pretty sure this is a big one. Oh, look, me.
What's this then? This says health and wellness, okay?
Yeah, that's a new committee,
Okay,
so we have to budget for them.
Judy's coming in at 1:15.
Judith?
Yeah, though I think part of her discussion, it concerns salaries for staff and performance. So we need to take that into executive session if we're gonna be, if we're talking about more than just their salaries, we're actually talking about their performance.
Gotcha.
And then when we come back out of executive session, so maybe we can try and move her to like 3:30.
Later.
Yeah, and then tomorrow, 3:45, and then tomorrow when we come out, we can discuss whether or not we're making any monetary changes.
Okay. So when do we expect the audited numbers for 2023?
I have a draft, so it's just, there's a couple of things that they need to clean up that I know about, I just have to finish, like, all of the supplementary schedules, I have to finish going through the review of those.
Is it a
But,
week, 2 weeks?
oh, yeah, by next week. Next week's gonna be a quiet week because we don't have a work session, we don't have budget sessions, so I will actually be able to spend some time in the office focused on that.
Yeah, Megan and I are going on vacation.
What are those?
Okay, so end of next week, we'll have those 2023 audited numbers.
Yes,
And
and
Shelby
then that's it.
will have some extra work on her desk to have a new column here.
Well, no,
Yeah,
she already has the 2023 numbers in the detail. The financial statements that I have is a whole nother presentation. And we should probably, like, we periodically will have the auditor come in and explain the reports and the interface. But what Shelby's given you is much more helpful for this.
Yeah, which is just a column that says,
Mhm.
what did this line do in
Yes,
2023?
exactly.
Yeah, it's the year-end
Here's
budget.
what was
Yeah.
proposed for 2024,
Yeah.
here's what we spent in 2024, and here's what we're gonna do for 2025.
Mhm.
Without that 2023, none of this makes sense to me.
Mhm. Okay. Judith is good for 3:30.
Okay, okay.
Where did we say we were, nutrition?
Yes, I believe that's where we left
15,
off.
page 15.
15.
And Coco, I am going to join the Zoom meeting, so that way if you want to put it back to speaker view, you can.
Okay, great.
I mean, I don't need to be on here. I mean,
Oh, no, just in case someone
Nobody
else,
watching,
in case someone else,
yeah,
joins in. But
this is such thrilling material.
it's very thrilling, poor Julie has to sit through it. And yeah, I mean, it's because we have a budget public hearing on this. we don't invite public comment now. It's just work sessions for us. Did you find yours? 'Cause
I
know you
did.
said you had some
I find it
questions.
with the notes. I'm assuming rent went up
Oh, yes.
in nutrition. I was like,
Yes, okay.
that's highlighted.
I was trying to say, yeah, so, the salaries were the standard increases. The big increase in this budget is we are breaking out the church rent. It used to be included in maintenance, I guess. Yeah, even in the modified budget, I broke it apart because I wanted to show that just the rent portion. So what's going on with the rent is why it's pretty much doubling. Our lease is up at the end of this year. The agreement that we had signed was that we were going to, and I should have brought the lease, maybe I have it here. We were to use the kitchen and fellowship hall on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for a certain number of hours. The way the program has developed and expanded over the years, we are using it 5 days a week, and we are using it for longer hours. And it has cost impacts to the church as far as, the gas goes up and the electricity and things like that. So if you look at what we agreed to, divide by the number of hours that we have said we were going to lease it, and extrapolate it out to what we're actually using, that would be 48,000. It's pretty close to 48,000. I did that when I was thinking about how we were going to look at this. When they came forward to say, this is what we think we need in order to, continue to keep the program here, and they want to keep the program here, their number was very close. So we have a tentative agreement to 48,000, so that's what we're putting in the budget.
Now, I mean, it's a huge increase.
It is.
And does that reflect work that needs to be done at the church?
No, they are responsible for maintenance, and there are things that they've had to maintain over the years. So, like when they went through the list, and if you want to, we could have Ellen Gov and Dan Binder come in and just talk and walk us through. But let me just see if I can find my notes
I
on
mean,
this.
that's good too.
Yeah, because I do have some detailed notes. I'm just trying to see if I have in my budget book, or if I have it in my lease negotiation book. So this is 6772. I'll probably have it in with my lease stuff. But yeah, there is maintenance and things that they have upkeep for. I don't think that we've put in a lot, like we've brought refrigeration over there, added a few pieces of equipment that we have paid for, but we use them exclusively. And then we're also in the process of fundraising to upgrade that kitchen. So that's on them and not us. So, but we will get the benefit of it.
And, I mean, I'd love for them to come in, because it's $4,000 a month, which is not insignificant. And it's double. So I think having them come in to talk to us about that is probably wise. So,
Okay.
I'm not saying I have a problem with that.
Yes, yeah,
I think the public needs to hear that explanation in person.
yes.
I also noticed that the food budget went up.
Are they doing more meals?
Yes.
Or?
Yes. The home delivery program has expanded to, Meals on Wheels has expanded from 3 meals a week to 5.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
so some of that, we will be able to get money back from the county grant.
Right.
So that increase,
It should balance out.
yes, and not quite balance out because it is a bigger program and it's also, there is a cap on how much we can get, but we weren't fully taking advantage of what could be reimbursed. So
Right.
by upping the program. And in the grant, we put in what the max grant is now, but the county they had to sign off on us increasing the program. So,
Okay.
excuse me, we're going to talk to them in the next grant cycle about increasing the contribution.
All right.
And also in the Silver Circle budget, their food line went down because now they get the meals, nutrition on Wednesdays.
Okay.
Yeah, it did make sense. They were, earlier this year, they were budgeting, like, or not budgeting, like billing or trying to come up with, okay, how much got moved over to Silver Circle? And it's like, that's just creating work and it's all coming out of the same bucket, so let's just put it all in this bucket.
On the staff expenses, I mean, since we start, the original program was 3 days a week and now it's 5. And is this reflective of 5 days? Well, there are 3 people,
Yes, yes, because they are,
4 people.
they
sorry.
do, they're in there 5 days a week prepping.
And so
They're
these
not-
numbers are 5 day a
Yeah,
week.
the congregate meal, it's Monday and Friday. The home delivery takes place 3 days a week, but 1 day of the week, they're delivering 2 meals.
Okay.
But then they need more prep time.
Mhm.
And that change took place in 2024, so earlier in the year, we had taken one part-time cook from like 17 hours to 30 hours.
Is that what this is, Donahue?
Yes,
So it went from 18,000 to 45,000.
yes.
And that's because he went from,
She,
she.
yes,
Sorry,
yes,
I don't know her.
yes. And I think, I'm not even sure the 17 was like, I don't think that was a good number. And it might have been for less hours.
Okay.
Yeah, it might have just been like part-time fill-in
Mhm.
at first.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of part-time fellow at first.
Well, that's the next line down, the part-time assistant slash.
I hate to ask this question because it's an important program.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of want to say yes, but
Mhm.
I'm like scratching my head when I see stuff like that.
Mhm. But the way, I mean, it is still a very lean protocol. The county interface has to do, actually, maybe we should have, is Michelle scheduled to come in? I mean, not Michelle.
Kelly, yes. Mhm.
Okay, yeah, she would do a better job explaining the program, like the details of like the assessments that need to be done for the people who get the Meals on Wheels. There's a whole bunch of paperwork that needs to be filled out with respect to that. She should probably bring Emily in with her.
I can tell her.
And then, but so then you've got the head cook, and then you've got the,
There were a number of misses in this budget. I mean, the food and appliances, it was adopted for, original budget 26 and it came in at 37.
well, the 26 is when we had 3 delivered meals a week, and now we had to adjust it up, do a budget modification to take it up to 5 for the rest of the year, as well as, and that's only, the 37,000 modified is partial, because the program only got moved up in September.
It's also if they get donations
Right.
and then like want to use the donations.
Yeah, well, I think, aren't the donations more in the senior centers section rather than the nutrition company?
I think the Senior Citizens Foundation just donated money to them for food.
Right, to help defray some of the costs
Yeah.
of going to 5 days.
Is that where we get, like, the supplies and office and miscellaneous? Budgeted at 30,000 and so far, well, through
They're over budget because it was modified to 5,000 and they've spent 6,200
got
so
it.
far.
Yeah, okay. But where did 29 come from?
I think that's what it is.
That's where the rent was
Oh,
at first.
Oh, okay,
okay.
That makes sense.
And then we
because
broke
it's
it.
rent
That's where it
plus office and
got
facility.
it.
Yeah,
So we
yeah.
added a new line.
Yes.
Okay, that's where it is, okay. I wasn't sure.
See, you can't look at that, and not ask the question.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Mhm.
That's a good explanation, okay?
That's right, because I broke it out in the modified column, I didn't break it out in the adopted.
This is another one I'd love to see what 2023 was, but we will. Okay, I think those are my questions.
Yeah, residential repair. That is just a little bit of a rejiggering of
Yeah, what's that about?
just looking at what, like, the actual paid, the people who actually go out into the homes, I think aren't spending as much time, the coordinators are spending a little bit more time.
So the town is helping people in need maintain their homes and
People who can't do it for themselves.
I mean, Tom Hashagan, and these are all the people who are doing it,
Yes. Mhm,
Andrew Chapman,
mhm. Yeah, Tom Cronin, Don Dunning.
okay. And how much do we pay them? Is there an hourly wage for them?
Yes, I can't remember off the top of my head.
It's pretty. minimal.
Mhm, Yeah.
Okay.
We get reimbursed from the county.
Oh, we do,
Mhm.
Yes.
so that's in the income pot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they also, when someone needs a temporary handicap access ramp, they'll install it. And then
Okay.
when they're done using it, they'll dismantle.
I think it's awesome we do stuff like this, so. And there are not many anomalies here.
Yeah. On to Silver Circle.
Mhm.
That program is on Wednesdays down at the Senior Citizen Center. And they do activities for seniors who, it's more hands-on, group activities. I think it helps give caregivers a little bit of a break, one day a week to,
I went to one of those last year.
So the meals and snacks and the office and miscellaneous, they've used so little of their budget. Do they have plans to purchase equipment or things?
yes, and Kelly can speak to that when she comes in, but yes,
Okay.
she wants to do more with it, and
Mhm.
she's been kind of like holding back. And some of the meals are now,
Any
like
other
the
category?
adopted budget was 9,800, we took it down to 4,600 because that
Right.
was the cost of the lunch that's getting provided by the nutrition program.
Okay.
But the rest is, she wants to do more, kind of like drop-in things for people.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, tomorrow.
because so much of the budget has not been used, it's hard to,
And a little, part of that too is when she came on board, we were looking last year and into this year, hiring if you go back to the nutrition program, the program supervisor, which is Emily Needham. So she was doing a lot of coverage over there until Emily was hired and trained and was able to start, taking over those county roles. So Silver Circle and Senior Center didn't get as much attention, and there weren't as many activities and programs scheduled. So now that we've balanced her load, she can now spend the time at the higher level, overseeing all the programs instead of having to be down in the trenches on a daily basis.
And her salary is,
In the Senior Center, the next page.
okay.
And I think unlike all of the senior stuff, so she's slated to come on. If you do want to suggest any cuts, and take a look at that section, what Shelby's already sent you for the 2023 numbers. So that way, since Kelly will be here, we can give her pointed questions, like, since you haven't historically spent this, like, help us understand why we're not going to take it away.
Or a
Basically.
little bit of it.
Yes, exactly, yeah, no, I mean, that's what I mean by take it away what's been unused historically. If that's the trend.
Got a big hill to climb here,
Oh, yeah,
got $118,000 hill. If
just
not
to take
more.
it down, yeah, just to take it down
Well, one
1%.
place.
Yeah. Mhm. Center, Senior Center. So there aren't any staff
There really weren't,
changes.
yeah.
It's pretty consistent.
AAA drivers, now that's a program we get reimbursed for too, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So, we have only spent 7,800 through August. And
Right.
I think when we look at 2023, those numbers were low as well, but it's whatever's expended gets reimbursed.
Right.
And you may notice the part-time assistant, we had someone retire and that position didn't get replaced immediately. But the person has been found, so,
It's not a new position.
no. Drivers for the new bus, having someone who has the CDL license, CDL with passenger license, has been difficult to find. But we did recently find someone who can drive the big bus. So they can now start to plan some more outings.
It's used for outings off island.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes on island, I think that bus might have been used to bring seniors who wanted to be picked up and taken to the school play.
Part-time assistant, that's been sorted out.
Mhm.
Now, maintenance has gone up. Is there an expected expenditure?
Second, to check my calculations and notes. That is, if you take the 6,000
Mm-hmm.
and extrapolate to the end of the year and a little cost of living inflation adjustment, it would be $9,400.
So they're out of budget then for this year.
Well, through August 31st, almost.
If they keep trending.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they're out of budget, rough tracks. Okay. And this is maintenance for the building?
Yes.
Not the-
It's like water testing that they have to have done monthly, pest control comes monthly, their water delivery, Suffolk Security.
They test the water monthly,
Yeah, they
Mhm.
have to.
so they have to, so seniors center requirement.
It's all these buildings. I mean, that's that $100,000,
It's every town.
yeah. You know, like, we need to upgrade this.
Get a bulk discount. It's just-
It's a bulk expense.
Yeah.
Meals and snacks, that went up.
Never argue with snacks.
Snacks are good. Snacks bribe people to come and visit you.
Yeah, that's the point of it.
You want them to have good
Setting up
snacks.
little coffee corner for people to just drop in and.
Mm-hmm. Good, okay. Senior shopping assistance, is this another one that we get reimbursed?
Yes, that was a new program, a new
Yeah.
grant that we've gotten.
Now, is she putting more hours in?
Is it fully reimbursed?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Marissa?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yeah. She's the coordinator for making,
right.
as the program grows, it's quite the effort to coordinate, getting everybody's
Yeah.
shopping lists submitted, and she sometimes helps seniors like do
Figure
like
out how to do it on the
the,
computer.
the ordering, through Shop and Stop.
They have to be 65 to be a senior
Mhm.
in these programs.
I'm not sure if this one's 60 or 65.
If it's 60, they can do my shopping.
I think though, because we had a few town employees utilizing it, and then the county came in and ended up saying it needs to be, like, there's more parameters with it, like you have to not be able to go off
To
yourself, yeah. So, which I think, otherwise the program would be huge, but.
Oh, yeah. It's like, Marissa, I
Yeah.
just need you to do my groceries for me.
Pineapple.
Yeah.
And same thing with the drivers for this, driver 1, driver 2. We had 19,000 budget, they've only done like 1,700 or 1,500.
Yeah, it took a little while to get the program.
Going, yeah. But if it's starting to really kick off, we're gonna probably need that money.
Yes.
This is the senior thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, part of the senior program.
But it's fully reimbursed. I mean,
Mhm.
in what way? Is it
It's a
any
win-win.
legitimate amount we spend, they'll reimburse, or they say you have up to $50,000, or whatever it is?
I think they give us a budget number, which it was 40, and then Barbara submits like quarterly expenses, and then we get reimbursed for it.
So our expenses do need to stay below 40.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
do we go over?
This is our first year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Bethany coming in.
She didn't request, so.
Okay.
She didn't request an increase.
No, she didn't request a meeting to come in at all,
Oh,
so
okay.
It's only if we.
you guys wanted to call her in.
Did we, didn't, we actually gave her more than she proposed.
No.
For,
Department proposed 141, and we gave her 142.
yeah, recreation aids.
And she proposed 43,260.
No, the next line down, recreation aids.
Oh.
She's trending
Gotcha.
to be over budget.
Yeah, with the 13.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So that's why when I looked at it and I looked at the numbers, I was like, oh, wait, that's not gonna work.
It looks like Kelsey's salary is going down.
That, if, you have to take Kelsey on this page and also the FITSUM page. She's just
okay. So
restructured
it's
because
just-
she,
Okay.
she said the way she spends her time is more accurately reflected with this year's budget.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Mhm.
I was like, I don't know that we want to cut her salary after just hiring her, but if she's split between two places, that makes sense. Okay.
Yes.
So this is the recreation aides.
No, the one number below it, Kelsey, like Mansky.
Okay. Because that's the one line where we have given them more than they requested.
You mean the rec aides?
Yeah,
Yes. Because they're already trending
Yeah, they're
over
already,
budget.
yeah, last year they spent $10,401 for rec aids in 2023. They've already spent $9,600 through August.
so, sorry.
Does your phone stop ringing when you push it?
It's up, they've been trained.
I was gonna say, I like that feature.
For fit equipment, we're just rolling over the same budget, is that what we're doing? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if they had bought things last year that haven't cleared yet, and so
No, she just waits until the end of the year. I just signed a purchase order.
that's what I was thinking.
Spending.
Yeah, that's what you did last year too.
Yeah, she just waits, just in case something breaks down during the year.
Right.
She'll fix that, but if she gets to the end of the year and it looks like, okay,
Yeah.
we're good, then she'll go ahead and replace.
Makes sense.
And I like that there were pictures associated, so it's like, oh, which pieces of equipment is she changing
Exactly.
out? Like, okay, good, yeah, that one's a good one to get rid of. The replacement's much better.
School contract. Why did we spend 10 grand when it was?
Oh, because we hadn't paid, there was like, was it
Yeah, we missed
2022?
missed his year or something.
This year?
Yeah.
Did they
They
fix the
didn't
roof
catch it,
yet?
we didn't catch it.
And then we did finally catch it when we were, they're
Yes.
working on fixing the roof. The
I
money.
was like, are we
that-
just withholding it until the roof gets fixed? Is there a logic?
No, actually, it was revealing how much money was in that fund from the $5,000 that we give them every year
Got
to
it.
see whether or not there was adequate funds to fix the roof. And that's when we were like, oh, wait,
Oops.
we're missing this year, so.
Okay.
This is the roof over the fit center.
Yeah. And then we were gonna try and, I don't know if I told Bethany. They were going to try and fix it this fall, but then realized because the money's in a reserve fund, it has to have, I thought it would be a permissive referendum, but it sounds like it's not a permissive referendum, it's a,
That boggled me.
I
My
can't
brain
think
went
of,
blank.
I can't think of the terminology, but they have to have a referendum to move the funds out of the reserve account. So they're going to wait until instead of doing a special election, they're gonna wait until the usual May election and put it on the ballot. For school board.
You've sent,
Sure.
I think mandatory, yeah, I think mandatory. Yeah, that was the word, mandatory.
I was like, I can't think of it.
The beaches lifeguards, she's taking up because she wants to have like a lifeguard manager, part-time, a seasonal
Mhm.
position. When we were doing exit interview, we realized that for an employee, she was taking on that function, so was basically on call. So, we need to rectify that.
pay her more.
No, it's gonna be a separate person,
Oh,
so
so,
that we're not requiring somebody to work 7 days a week in the summertime. We like to comply with labor laws when possible.
yeah. So there's a new employee in this number.
That's the $10,000 difference.
Yeah. Should we, does it make sense that when we're creating a new job, should we flag that? I mean, it helps with forecasting going forward and back. Because,
You'd like to break it out as its own line?
well, I just want to flag it, like a note. This is a new job, we're creating a new job. I mean, we're looking at a 10% bump right now. And you kind of want to be able to figure out why, and where. Not saying it's not needed, I'm just,
Yeah, I'm not sure what mechanism.
yeah, no, never mind. Is there a notes column?
I mean, I just wrote it on my spreadsheet.
I have it in my backup sheets from department head meetings.
Yeah.
Is there, should we? I don't know. Well, I'm just asking.
Do you want to break it out into
Should we have
another
a
line?
notes column? And we can put lots of stuff in the notes column.
Just like off to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. You're just gonna get smaller and smaller
Smaller.
text to
I
read.
can't read this now.
Exactly.
Show me. You see me like this?
Yeah,
Almost put my magnifying glass.
yeah. Well, that's why I sent you, I don't know if you've seen it, like the digital copy, because sometimes it's a lot easier to
I can blow it up.
blow it up on there, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what Jim always used to do. He just kind of,
Colligan?
Jim Colligan, yeah, kept track separately, just on a notepad, like all the big asks, and then usually typed up a big thing.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, that was like my cover sheet. I don't know if I put it in the cover sheet.
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to create nothing for.
No, but yeah, so when at the end, you kind of have listed all the big asks just separately, so you
Right,
keep
and
them in
with
mind.
your HR program, you'll have when the new jobs are created
Mhm.
and when they're refilled and how long. So you could always use a cross-reference.
I mean, does the public ever ask, like, there's $10,000 bump here, why? And
No.
We don't get that many people who come on hearing date. Every once in a while, but
okay. All right, so I'll figure it out myself. Or they create more work for Shelby.
I mean, I have budget books going back like 9 years now. And with like copious notes, which I oftentimes will go back and refer to at some
I
point in
keep
time.
combining them, so I have like my original budget binder, I just keep adding the new budgets on top. Oh, so I have 20.
Mhm.
Okay,
The Waterman program was a donation.
Mhm. Yeah, so if you look at the cover
We have to
sheet,
figure out
so
how they want to spend it.
if you look at the cover sheet, you will see the Waterman program listed. So the money was donated a couple of years ago. The program hasn't, like, they haven't figured out the exact program to use it on yet, and it is donor restricted or donor advised. So they haven't come to an agreement. So that money was left over in the year of donation got rolled into fund balance. So each year we've been pulling it back out of fund balance.
that's 25 grand.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What does it do?
They're going to come up with some sort of program that's youth, that helps kids like spend more time on the water, whether it's
Learn how to
sailing
swim
or
or
swimming
sail
or
or something.
kayaking or,
But we haven't spent any of the money.
no,
No.
not yet.
I have some suggestions.
Talk to Bethany.
Last year, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, there have been a couple of different proposals, but they didn't quite meet the donor advised parameters, so.
Okay.
But she would know which, like what, what types of things didn't qualify so far.
Okay. Yeah, because we
Yeah, we're the
have a
decades.
program at the club where we bring inner city kids out here
Mhm.
for a week or two every summer to participate in the selling program.
Mhm.
And we raise the money privately for it. And there's no reason why we can't add some of the local kids to that,
Mhm.
and especially if the money's here.
Mhm. You're one of the liaisons for
Yeah.
recreation. Who's the other one?
Maybe,
It's not me.
maybe, no. I was gonna say
I should
maybe
say-
Albert.
Oh,
No,
okay. I was gonna
it's
say,
only me.
I was gonna say, I know,
It's
I know which committees I'm on, and I'm not on that one.
Oh, here it is. I got the list right here.
It's Albert.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
Recreation,
I know,
Larson and Dixon, yep.
I know last year it was Jim Colligan.
I think it was just Jim Collins.
Yeah, it might have been just Jim. Like this year, we've got two on every single one, primary and backup. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think like who would have some historical.
Yeah, no, I've been coordinating with Bethany. Last year, she was trying to organize like swim lessons, but they were having trouble finding a location. So like for people who wanted to do it in a pool, we were scared of the open water because that's kind of a thing, especially for kids. And the logistics of making that happen, the liabilities and everything were challenging because people wanted to do it in their private pools, but then there's that whole going onto private property, and so that was challenging to work out. So
Now that
that
you mention it, that's
that
coming
didn't
back to me.
quite happen.
Mhm.
So that was one of the ideas they had. They've looked at a few other things, and I can't remember the details of them.
Let's see if she has any ideas for this year.
Yeah, because it's not that expensive, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think it would be cool.
Especially if the kids are local.
Mhm.
Our biggest expense is transportation from
Right.
New York City to Shelter Island.
Yeah.
Back and forth. I mean, the housing is provided for free.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's definitely something to let her know about.
And Shelby, do you remember what the community trips was about? I'm like drawing. a blank.
Yeah, so she wanted to start doing more community-oriented trips, like, you know, going skiing for the day or going into the city to see a show and more community involvement, I guess, with that, and like families, not just senior trips, but like include all age groups. So she put the 10,000 in, but then she also backed it up with adding a revenue line for it.
Okay.
And the revenue line is another,
Income, yeah,
Yeah.
it's,
well, it's another donation. Or-
No, like people would be expected to pay, like chip in to pay, like if you went to the city and you saw a show, you know, maybe they would get discounted tickets that you'd still have to pay a portion for.
actually, she put revenue in for 7,000.
Yeah.
So this line is costing us 3,000.
Okay.
I found my notes. Oh, and also a little bit of the reason for rejiggering the assistant recreation leader between the recreation and youth center lines was because Kelsey is going to focus more on some early childhood summer
I was
programs.
gonna say, I thought they were gonna try to branch out into a new early childhood program.
Yeah. And they're doing like Tuesdays and Fridays, mommy and me kind of activities. So that was a little bit why it looked like she was going down.
Yeah,
But when you
that
turn
makes
the-
sense.
When you turn the page,
Yep, I see.
So it's a part-time position.
no, it's a full-time
Not
position.
full-time.
It's just in two different sections.
Got it. Oh, where's the other section?
Turn the page,
Right.
youth center.
Okay. Her combined salary is 65. Two six.
67,500.
phone and cable going up?
In the youth center?
Yeah.
I actually took it down a little bit. Oh, wait, no,
Phone and
cable.
cable
Oh, no, that
was
one I took up.
from-
Yeah, I took electricity down and I took fuel oil down, but realized that I think I might have looked at the bills and saw that like something was misclassified possibly.
Yeah, I guess.
I did the calculation.
Okay. Now, adult programs, those are the different classes, right? Like yoga and
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff.
Yes.
This number is like paying the instructors.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Mhm.
And their pay scales, vary like per class based upon how many people they attract. So if someone has a smaller class, they may only get paid $25 a class. Someone else who runs a large class may get paid 30 or 35.
Okay. Board, other items. Is this the thing we just voted on? Oh, sorry, were we finished with?
Yeah,
Just,
done.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, do you think it's still high? Or are they gonna try to expand the adult programs?
They didn't put anything.
We haven't spent all the money, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't wanna
Let's
like
see what,
limit what they can do, but
I think that the adult rec fees are in for 15,000 and the expense is
Yeah.
15 or 14,000. So I did take it down a little
Okay.
bit.
her revenue, adult rec fee revenue through the end of August was $16,420.
okay. So then, I feel like I could probably go to 10 and it'd still be okay.
Let me see.
Just gonna pull up 20.
Yeah, I was just going there too. $76.20. Last year, we spent 11,396.
You can say 11 and be okay.
Well, no, we spent 11,396 last year.
You do like.
20. You wanna pause?
Yeah, Zoom froze.
Hmm?
The Zoom
No.
froze. Frozen, the camera's turned on.
Oh, okay,
Our
ours
camera,
is.
Zoom's still going.
Well, yeah, Amber said that the picture froze. It froze me thinking face. So serious.
Julie, can you
Processing
hear
numbers.
us? Just nod your head. Yeah, you can hear us, okay.
Okay.
So it's
All right,
just the
just can't
video
see
that's. We'll give you a second, Coco, to,
Last time Kevin said when you restart it, then it cuts off the live stream.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
don't think you need to restart it. He said he fixed that problem. It's a different problem now.
Right,
Should we see if he's upstairs?
absolutely.
It's a good time.
Yes, have a good time, yeah.
Might as well go now. Let me see if his car's in the parking lot though, he might be upstairs.
Oh, yeah, if you went to lunch.
See the transit.
You
might have
Oh, Bethany said they also increased the hourly rate for the lifeguards.
Oh.
I'll put a little note in case we re-review again.
Mhm.
So Kevin, this camera froze. So Zoom is still running, but they said this is a new problem. We're doing the, budget. Camera.
He's not upstairs. I did so much lunch when I came.
We need to swap it out with the other camera.
Are all,
Yeah.
Well, we could use this one as a placeholder and just leave this picture up. And they could just hear us talking in the background.
Because
We all look like we're working hard. Shelby's typing, I'm thinking, you and Ben are talking. It's not the worst.
Amber's camera is working fine, so.
Yeah.
yes,
I don't know how to change the cameras. I've never. Is it under the video? No. So to just pull over the full screen. Okay, I'll try that. If not, I'll call you back. Okay.
It's taken over nice.
Pardon? Okay, thanks. Okay, we're back in business.
Nice job with the candy upgrade, Sheldon.
You know, I was told we were running low on supplies, so.
Is that the budget?
Yeah. It might have to be a cut.
yeah, now that I can't eat the candy.
Yeah.
I say slash it.
It was cold, but all I had in my car was this
It is a little chilly.
jacket.
It's very chilly today. That other camera's at a funny angle.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know what he did.
We don't have anyone in the audience, so
Yeah, well, Julie.
we'll know in the
Physical.
physical,
Yeah.
where this camera's trained on.
It doesn't matter if somebody here. We should get dummies. Put
Make it
them-
closer for people.
Crash test them.
Sound like transparency in government. Okay. Shelby also noted when, you both might have been in the room, that under the lifeguards, she had to raise the rate also.
Oh,
in order
yes.
to attract people
Yes, it did.
to become lifeguards.
Yeah.
All right, so I think we're down to town board other items, which is historical society contract.
Yes.
Now, is that the record keeping thing we were talking about earlier?
No, this is just historically, we have paid the Historical Society 15,000. It becomes a little controversial every year.
To do what?
Well, that's the thing, we need to, we have no contract with them. So we need to draft something to kind of,
To do what?
that's what we need to do. So we, every other year, maybe, we have them come in and explain to the town board, so we could request that they come in.
Now, we have a different contract with them to store documents for us, or we're gonna work
Yes.
on
We're
that?
working on that.
Now, that'll be separate and distinct from this?
That would be, this, it would encompass this. Like, I think we
It would
need to,
include, we'd make that contract for 15,000?
yeah, we
So we
need to.
wouldn't have two line items for
Correct.
that.
No, it would just, yes, and I think
Yeah.
some of what they wanted to do at some point was increase this amount to help us with archiving, things like that. And we're still, Amber and I have met with the New York State Archive people. We've also, like Amber, hopefully you're listening and can.
Yes, I'm on.
Okay, yeah, because we met with somebody from New York State Archives, and then we also met with somebody else. I'm trying to remember which department, was it somebody from AOT, or was it somebody from a different department in the state?
We had Maria McCashin come out and kind of look at what we were doing, what we could do as towards the grant. And then now I can't remember his name off the top of my head. I want to say his name was Mike. But he's for our district, and we met with him concerning this situation because there's do's and don'ts with it.
Yes, yeah, we have to, like, if we're going to do a contract with the Historical Society, we have to make sure it meets the parameters that he went over with us. So we need to,
For record storage.
for record storage. So,
So why don't we
and,
zero
and
this out and wait until we have a contract?
You're reading my mind again.
let us,
We paid him 50 grand and we don't know why.
no, I mean, there are records that they maintain, that they say are on behalf of the town. However, they are their records, they're not any town records, because if we do give them town records to maintain, and there probably are some things that we should, but we need to specifically, according to the New York State people, clearly delineate that we are giving you, Historical Society, these records to maintain on our behalf, and we need to like delineate like exactly what's given to them so that it's very clear that we have not given up ownership of these records. But they do have, there were some, I guess, tax assessor maps that landed at the recycling center a few number of years ago, and so somebody picked them up and took them to the Historical Society, and so they maintained them. But when we investigated further, because it was a concern, it was like, oh, did someone do something they weren't supposed to as far as throwing things away, these things away? They were not records that the town was required to maintain. And so they're just, the disposal of them was fine, but it's nice that the Historical Society has them in case someone wants to do some research.
If we finalize this contract, if it just can't come up as another line item,
Mhm.
it's gotta be this money. I mean, we paid them this money for God knows how many years for nothing, to hold on to a couple of maps.
They will not say it's nothing. It's like, so let's schedule them to come in. They will not say it's nothing. And they have.
No, I remember the pitch from last year.
Yeah.
And
I mean, what are we
they
doing?
were,
Or the year before
they
that.
have successfully advocated their position year after every other year or so. So, yes, let's have them come in.
Can't imagine how. Okay. And why don't we give Perlman 15 grand
Well,
to have
that's-
music concerts for the
well, that's-
town?
Yes, I mean, that is the concern, and that's why we do need to formalize something.
Yeah, I want to talk to them about this.
Okay, all right.
Fantastic organization, but really?
Community Housing Board.
Am I reading this right? They asked for 18 and we're giving them 55.
Well, the 535,000 is what they should have accumulated by the
Yeah.
end of the year, so
Right.
just if we spend it, like, but this doesn't factor into the budget.
I was gonna, yeah.
The 535,000 does not.
Okay,
Yeah.
so can, we should
Just
make
make sure you
this,
double-
Yeah.
we should,
That was one of my questions. I'm like,
Yeah, I was like,
can we at least move
double-
it down below all this? It's very confusing. So, I mean, I gotta do math to figure this out. So there's 20 grand. So basically they're asking for 19 and we're giving them 19?
yes.
We're asking for 19 and we're giving them, well, yeah, 19, we're giving them 19.4.
Mhm.
Can we drop the funds below this?
Mhm. Yes, I'm writing that
I
now.
did that in my spreadsheet.
Yeah, because that's actually, it's not even spending it, it's just putting it into their reserve account.
Right.
So it comes
Yeah.
in and it goes,
Yeah.
it goes into that fund.
Yeah, really, it's really 19 grand? Office and miscellaneous. Consulting. Legal services, that's where that lives. Looks like they're gonna spend more money this year than
Mhm.
what's here.
Yes, yeah, but they have funds, so we can increase the budget and pull the money from.
From the
Reserves.
535.
So that we don't have to add to taxpayer costs. So we are funding $19,430 of community housing costs.
Okay. Landfill.
Let's see. Most of this is contract, right? Don't have Ken coming in currently.
There's a lot of longevity here.
Yep, there's been there's a lot of longevity in the highway.
And and how did it get bumped up 12 grand?
We do the calculations. You're talking the longevity piece?
Mm-hmm.
Because people might have hit new levels.
Mhm.
When you hit certain year marks, you get a higher longevity, so we might have just leveled up.
That wasn't anticipated when last year's budget was done?
We were in negotiations, so we had it in the money in contingency. That's why the modified looks different. Because adopted, we just went with like the previous year's number, and then when they did the contract negotiations, longevity got changed a little bit.
They are percentage longevity. They're not fixed dollar amount. So if someone's been with the town for 5 years, they get 5% of their salary as longevity. When it's 10 years, they get bumped up to 10%.
That's
15 years.
different than
Um,
other areas.
well, for
police.
highway, I thought that they had 5, 10.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I think
They're not
highway is
percentage.
Those are straight.
Because we
Oh, you're
added,
right.
we added a
the-
new level
for-
for 20
And
years.
we increased, like if you're here for 5 years, you get yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
thinking
they
of the
were a
police
flat,
contract.
yeah, police
Yeah,
percentage.
so highway, like after 5 years, instead of it being 1,000, it went to 2,000.
Right.
4,000 went to, or 2,000 went to 4,000.
2,000, 4,000,
6,000,
6,000, 8,000, I think we
And
added
it's added,
10,000
yeah, added up.
for 20 years or something.
So it's not based on percentage.
No,
No.
I misspoke. It's on the wrong contract.
We do have a subtotal sheet somewhere, if I can find it.
It's just looking for
Yeah,
it to.
probably said.
If you really have to bring out your magnifying glass for that.
It's very
I'll
long.
trust you. Your eyes are younger. You can read it to Michelle.
And I even tried to consolidate, like,
Yeah, the
remove some unnecessary columns.
levels are
So-
2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. 1,000 for longevity.
And the plateaus at 10.
It does, yes.
On page 53. Yeah, even my eyes are like going a little crazy.
You're still a kid, your eyes better be sharp. You have to know this.
It's tiny.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So if you go to landfill, longevity, and then you add up there, that's how you get that number.
Okay,
So it like corresponds to,
these are, okay, people.
yeah, people and employees.
It does kind of look like landfill longevity is a percentage, no?
No, it's a way,
It's a breakdown of
yes, because you've
Oh, I
got
see.
people who are part landfill, part
part
Russian
hazmat,
weeds.
part, okay, I get it. I see what's happening.
So you've got.
And one person is in like a third, so.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it, I'm like, okay, now I get it. They go across quite a few lines. The totals all make sense.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking it was percentage.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't a flat.
Right, because
Yeah.
it looks wacky when you break it down.
Anyway, so there's that support.
Landfill double time. Department proposed 9, we're putting in 15.
Phil, part-time, did you say?
Double time,
Double time.
8160, 129.
Because if you look at the 10,203.
They're over budget.
Yeah. But I think I took it from some other.
From a different line.
Mhm.
So where's the extra $6,000 now?
I took it out of vacation sellback because historically we haven't used it, and also the deferred
I
comp.
was gonna say deferred comp looks lower.
Yeah.
Now, do they all take out their deferred comp at the end of the year or something? Why is that?
Yes.
Unused,
Yeah,
okay.
they have to make the decision
Got it, yeah.
till the first or something like that.
So what constitutes deferred comp, like not taking vacation?
Yeah, if they don't use their vacation days, they can put it into deferred comp. It gets paid into a fund, so when they leave, then they take it.
Sure. Oh, they don't take it at the end of the year.
No, but the designation gets made so that the money gets moved, so that it's available.
This is a liability.
Mhm.
And so this is an annual liability?
It's an expense, and it goes into a liability account to be held.
Okay. Sorry.
I can talk down the surprise if you want. The time last year was 18,000. Yeah, so, yeah, the overtime line was 18,000 in 2023.
Okay.
And then the vacation sellback, is that another thing that they wrap up at the end of the year?
I couldn't remember if they had 2 options throughout the year to do that, or if they, I know there were
Yeah,
2 different
vacation,
dates, I
yeah,
wasn't sure if that was done.
Yeah, there's vacation sellback, I think, is like then you can actually take the money.
Right.
I'd have to look at the contract.
Yeah,
I thought one was in September and one was in like. I could pull my contract.
might have been in February.
Yeah, one is
in mine.
Earlier in the year,
Yeah,
because that one.
I remember one was at the beginning of the year and one's like at the end,
Yeah.
maybe like 6 months between them.
What's the revenue off of the land, off of the landfill?
One second.
To bring like.
Let's go to page 26.
Yeah.
You'll see landfill revenues, and it goes on to page 27.
Total 865,000.
So we're netting out at 100 grand it costs us? Sixty-seven, right? Is that what you said? 325.
Yeah, 323.
All the salaries are in here on the expense side,
Mhm.
personal services, okay.
Just
That's not bad, if it only costs us $325,000, it's not the end of the world.
Test wells and repairs. Are we rolling this over from last year? Are they planning on, I mean, I know we have to do the test well.
Oh, is this for the cap landfill?
It is a monitoring well that the health department is requiring outside of the landfill, so on like the perimeter of the property, to see if we have any leaching from the landfills.
Yeah, it's dropped to zero.
Yes, because that's a number that had gotten carried over a couple of years in a row. And so, but when I spoke to Ken about it, he said it was going to happen this year. And so it's not a,
Okay. So
That's
that's
why-
already,
that's
okay.
why I took it.
Okay.
So he's gonna use
RCA
it.
highway, that's crushed concrete? Is that
Mhm.
what that is?
Yeah.
Why is it, okay.
I don't think he's been buying it.
Yeah. Hazardous carting fees?
Yeah, we didn't spend any RCA highway money last year.
Office and miscellaneous has gone up
Yes. Well, the hazardous carting fees have gone down.
30%.
Are we gonna end up spending what's remaining?
Wait. Like, you both are asking questions.
Sorry.
Who's on a higher line?
I think Meg might be, is that?
Where were you? You were, oh yeah, I'm above you.
Yeah.
Hazardous carting fees, 816434.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if you kind of, Ken kept it at the same number as the prior year, but when I looked at like extrapolating it out, and let me see, hazardous carting fees from 2023.
28,300?
434. We spent, well, we did spend 28,000 last year.
Yeah.
Um,
28.
And this year we're,
We're at 21.
and I think I, like, this number extrapolated is 32,000, but I think I put it at 41,000 because I actually went in and looked to see what months of bills we'd actually paid. So while 21,000 through August 31st was paid, I think the bills were only through June, or maybe July.
July. Yeah, through July.
No,
We could do 35.
I was here though, those late nights because I was in the software program.
Yeah.
Looking at like, okay, if I'm cutting, like, what's a realistic cut?
Yeah,
So I do feel like I put realistic numbers in here,
okay.
but I mean, ask away, because,
Yeah.
11 o'clock at night, I might have made a miscalculation.
If I find an extra zero somewhere, I'll let you know. Purchasing concrete. It's a little higher. He asked for 20, we've got 21.5 in.
Last year, we spent just a few dollars shy of 20,000. And again, extrapolating out based on the actual invoices, I think 21.5 is a more accurate number. I also,
Yeah.
and I mean, I was doing some of this too, like cutting in some lines and bumping up other lines, just so we could do fewer budget transfers.
Yeah.
Like, that was part of my goal too, like a realistic budget, every number's looked at, and fewer money moves.
RCA Highway,
Yeah, is that?
they've spent nothing on that this year.
And
You cut it-
spent nothing last year too.
And you cut it to 500, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
sounds right.
Bags. Do they buy the bags at the end of every year or something? Because they haven't spent any money on bags.
Yeah, I was kind of talking about that.
His new idea that we won't.
Oh, no, I was not.
Oh, boy.
No, the new idea.
Now I'm curious.
Well, he has an idea, and then there was actually a vendor who came in.
Something like they got the bags, but they were, I don't,
Oh, were they
Oh.
wrong? Like there were some that
something.
they were open on both ends.
So maybe that's why we haven't paid it yet.
To return them. There was
Then it's
when they
not a
bought the
bag.
lot.
That was the problem, is that they, somehow when they got cut, they didn't cut right or something.
Last year, they did purchase them in October.
Okay. Yeah, so it probably just hasn't happened yet. But I'm guessing the $500 is for inflation. Oh man, that inflation's gonna get us. Environmental testing and monitoring.
Oh, now we're down to your office and miscellaneous. And,
Yeah, what's happening here? 30% bump.
yeah, I took it up because, if you extrapolate out, plus last year, we spent $12,683.
Uh,
So I didn't think 6,500 was realistic.
Makes sense.
And when you get all the way to the bottom, you'll see Ken requested 609,000. I put in 580,000, so I have bump ups in some areas, and cuts in others.
Okay.
Sounds good. Piping plovers, $0.
Picking clovers.
We just haven't ever spent it.
I was gonna say, it's
It's
just been
a-
sitting there forever, but we've never actually used it.
Yeah, I mean, we make sure that we're doing, the monitoring of the piping plovers and the red knots, whatever they are.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's a red knot?
It's another type of endangered bird that we now have to pay attention to. But for the most part, our highway guys are the ones going out and doing the monitoring, so it's not incurring us any additional cost. Whereas the concern was that at some point,
So we're taking this down to 0.
yes.
Cool.
So if we end up having to pay somebody to come in and do it. But I think we've also had some volunteers as well.
So the highway guys put up the
The signs.
fencing
Yes.
stuff and
Mhm.
stuff.
Yes.
Oh,
Much the
great.
same across the board.
Yeah, there wasn't anything further that needed to be done there, but some dock maintenance is required.
Okay.
Yes, definitely.
Mhm.
Drivers is a new line for enhanced mobility for seniors. Is that a reimbursable one?
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
This is reimbursed by the county?
Mhm.
Retirement system.
18 grand, but it's all reimbursed, so.
Yeah. This is an ouch.
This is my least favorite
This is the
page.
part that hurts. Goodness gracious.
Whoa.
OSAP's down.
So,
Everything else is, oh. You don't really have control over these.
and you said we have our own contract with the police department, it's not, I thought it was always Suffolk County, but not.
No, we have our own.
Does it have to,
We negotiated it last year.
does it have to go in step with other things in the county, like, no, it's really.
No,
just-
they negotiate
Which
on.
line are you talking about?
Well, let's just talk generally about.
Oh, general,
the police
okay.
contract.
Oh, um, if we're not somewhat in line, we are less generally, I think, than other police, departments around us. But if we don't keep up, and they've got the same training requirements,
Yeah,
you know, if you break down the schedule, the coverage is the coverage, you know, mandated by the number of hours in the day, we could potentially lose people to other municipalities or the county. And we're also trying to attract new police officers. If someone has an interview with Suffolk County or Southold, and they're paying more, where are you gonna go? Especially considering how expensive it is to live on Shelter Island.
Yeah.
okay. So, what's is?
Right.
So the different, I mean, you've added $500,000 here.
Mhm.
And it's here, it's right here. Social Security and LoSAP. Oh, that's it?
No.
No,
Yeah,
what is
Those
that?
that went down.
Medical insurance is the biggest increase. That's in excess of 300,000. If you look at A9060.800,
Yeah, it went from 1.6 to 1.95.
And was it the cost of the policy and the coverage, or?
Yep.
And how many new employees do we have?
From that budget year,
Yeah,
we picked up the new police officer who's in the police academy.
It's Emily,
No.
she was there.
Yeah, because that was an existing position. We increased a part-time cook to a full-time cook.
What about the assessor's office? Do we pick up a new person, or was that filling a position that was?
That was filling a vacant position.
We hired
Emily, you're right, Emily, because, yeah, Emily's,
Yeah, Emily,
yeah, because we realized we were
Yeah,
putting too much on Kelly. And it used to be separated.
and
do we fill that empty position on highway too? Although they,
But that would have been in the budget, yeah, so 2.5 new employees over last year.
and on the medical, how much does the employee pay and how much do we pay? Is it 60/40 or is it?
No, we changed that last year. No, it was effective for this year.
Yeah.
It was effective for this year. So that if you are married, you're picking up 4% of the premium, of your, 4% of your salary goes to cover health insurance, and 2% if you're single. And the reason we changed it is because it used to be 15%. Or was it 20%? Might have been up to 20%. Yeah, 20% for newer employees, 15% for older employees, and then real, longer ago, employees paid 0%. You were getting people who were making 50,000 paying the same in health insurance as a $150,000 person. So it wasn't equitable.
Yeah, they were, what they were ended up doing was not getting the health insurance so that they had enough of a paycheck to live on, and then trying to find health insurance somewhere else, which wasn't always working out.
Or just going without it.
Or just going without.
So we did an analysis to see like what the cost increase was going to be. And it actually wasn't as great. Could find that spreadsheet. That was something we did a year ago. It's probably like last year's budget book, but it made it more equitable, made sure employees would choose the coverage rather than go without. Because over the years, there have been employees that went that way. Okay. With the increase in the retirement systems and the health insurance, that is why all, like,
Yeah.
8 out of 10 towns are not going to pierce the cap this year. Like, take our numbers, and magnify them tenfold for some of the bigger towns.
But we have the biggest increase, or the second biggest increase.
The biggest increase at the moment,
Oh,
because we're so small.
Right.
Like,
Like these
They
things
can
have a
absorb,
bigger
yeah.
impact.
yeah,
mhm.
because if these costs for us are going up, well, I put it in my cover, but I don't think I printed my cover.
Look, 5 piece then 10.
Yes, but no, if I'm looking at the section when I was doing, that is 27% of our total appropriations. And employee benefit costs increased 15%, which accounts for 5.4% of this year's budget increase.
And it's 27% of the total budget.
27% of the total budget, total appropriations. And when I had been working on the numbers, these were the last numbers to come in. And then I had to go back and redo the whole budget.
Barbara is still working with some of these numbers, so they're still
Yeah, so you and I need to sit down and,
And the 4% married, 2% single, is that standard amongst the 5 towns?
no.
Where do we sit on that?
I think other towns are still doing percentage of insurance costs. But we looked at it differently just because it's hard to hire people. Like, when we were trying to find new employees and they, found, like, oh, I'm gonna have to pay 20% of this, then I need a higher salary. Because they were coming from places where they were paying lower percentages.
Lower than 4%.
Oh, no, like 15, like, it was 20% of whatever the health insurance cost is. So if health insurance for a family costs $24,000 a year.
That's $5,000.
Yeah.
And we're doing 4% of
Whatever the salary is.
salary is.
Mhm. But I may be low on the cost. I'm trying to remember what the premium cost is for.
Barbara just said before, it's like 41,000 per family plan.
So my number was off.
Crazy number.
So it would cost them $8,200.
That's nuts.
Yeah. Yes, I mean, even like the whole medical insurance thing, I mean, it might be time to look at something else. If there's any other options out there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's government, I don't know, like,
Mhm.
it's different.
I feel like it's just one of those expenses that we're just gonna keep incurring no matter what.
Mhm.
Even if you change policies, you're still gonna have a
Right,
significant expense, so I don't know
Yeah, I mean,
if it's.
when I was going through the marketplace, every single year, I was switching carriers to
Yeah.
find something less expensive.
Yeah.
And, yeah, when I was providing health insurance from, when I had more employees and was providing it, same thing. Like, okay, we're gonna change this year. Does everyone's doctor have Aetna?
Well, that's the other problem, is like trying to find doctors that
Mm-hmm.
take other insurances, at least this insurance is pretty well
Mhm.
covered.
Yeah.
How to go anywhere with it. It's for projects. That's going down. Yes. Very capital projects.
Oh,
Yeah, so last year we had 230,000 projects. A lot of that funded with the COVID money, the ARPA money. So because it was funded with ARPA money, we needed to put less in this year, else that would have been another budget increase. So I could,
so what were those capital projects? Because we didn't do
What
them
page?
this one.
52. If you go to page 52, it's the backup for that line, for all the capital.
yeah, the 2023 capital projects was ADA compliance for Justice Court,
That's getting the design done.
police, can't remember, one of the two.
I think she's working on Justice Court now. She did PD first.
Right, yes, so Justice Court. And then it's funded out of taxpayer money. But the power lift stretcher for EMS, updated the radios for EMS, the upgrade to the countywide radio system for police, the air burner, the landfill, facilities master plan, and a little bit going into capital reserve.
It's,
So, but what was funded out of appropriations in that last year's budget was 25,000. This year we have flowing over to the schedule 93,000, but half of that will be grant funded.
And then the dock is going in today, this season, the Condon Creek bulkhead. It says Condon Creek dock, is that the dock or the bulkhead?
Oh, down below.
Dock, that one.
Oh, that was 2022.
22.
I know, but that rolled over to 2023 and then 2024.
Oh, yeah.
Is that,
Yes.
Yeah.
we're still trying to get the bulkhead done? Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that wasn't included in that, but the 93 is just the water, the high water
Rescue vehicle.
and then we'll get half of that back.
We've applied for it, so.
like, cause that was 300,000? Where was I, what else?
93,000.
93.
Yeah, so the net increase in capital this year is $21,500. And last year, to make the budget work, the money was used for ARPA, which meant we had a decrease in what kind of capital projects we were doing. Because the prior year, we had funded $235,000 worth of capital projects.
That was with the COVID money.
No, that was 2023. We weren't using COVID money. So then in 2024, using the COVID money, we were actually only funding out of the taxpayer money $25,000. So that was another reason why I said we're going, like, next year budgeting is gonna be difficult. Because we had started to build up a pot of money every year to be used towards capital projects, and then we took that pot away. So now we need to build it back up, or we just go back to the days where we weren't keeping up with our maintenance of our assets.
Which then costs more in the long run.
Yeah.
Receiver.
And they will come in and talk to us at some point about, wait, are we, what page are we on? 20.
You guys froze again.
Oh,
Can you hear us?
I can hear
Yes.
you now. I couldn't hear you earlier, but now it's working.
All right.
oh, and did we lose?
Julie's still on there.
Oh, okay.
No, it's just the camera again.
I thought I saw Kevin back in the building, so.
Yeah.
So, what are these revenues for? The payment.
Tax receiver.
Yeah, so the LIPA pilot payment is, they don't pay property taxes for, you know, the land that LIPA has or uses. No, I guess they own it. They will only pay the 2% increase. So whenever they like start it, we only get the tax cap each year.
Well,
Can we renegotiate that?
Not sure where it comes from, but
Yeah, no, that seems silly.
it's
All right.
built in at the state level.
so for all the land they own on Shelter Island, they pay 50
Or,
for
yeah.
change.
For the A fund, they also pay, like B fund, DA fund, DB fund, school, library.
Okay.
They pay us
Mhm.
for that.
And then we distribute, yeah,
Oh, and the fire district.
to the fire district.
So why are they paying us? Oh,
It
Called
gets,
payment in lieu of taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, pilot.
okay.
yeah, pilot. Yeah, that's for pilot.
That sounds confusing.
Since we're gonna pay
It's
you
really
this set
confusing.
amount instead of letting you tax us.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we don't care if
But
your,
no more than 2%.
we don't care if your costs go up 10.2%.
Exactly.
We're only giving you 2% increase.
What's an incentive to keep it down to
And the
2%?
tax penalties went down.
Yeah, so what we realized, so 18,000 or whatever that number was that Anne Marie had is what we collect, but then we do have to give a portion of it to the school, to the fire district, to the library.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
that's why, what we actually collected was lower, a little bit lower,
So is
like
it,
the 8,600. That was like what we kept, and then proportionately, you have to figure out like what's owed to the school and to the fire district.
so do we need to, like, is that 18,150
Probably.
too high?
Yeah, probably, sorry.
I mean,
I feel like I looked at that, but it looks like,
So this should be closer to 14?
Or like
like 10.
10.
I'll look and see.
I wasn't sure if that was done for the year or if. like,
Yeah, that's,
waiting
that
for
was
late.
done. No, I can see.
We received 9,000 in 2023.
So 10,000.
Yeah. So it's
Same.
10K.
You just don't like it.
Go in the wrong direction again.
Sorry.
I don't know, I took out that 15.
Yeah.
I thought you might be a little different there, real stuff.
For no service.
Oh, my. All right, let's see. You are so gonna get yourself in trouble.
Yeah.
Just you wait.
I think that the community housing fund shows up as revenue. We get paid to host the early vote?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
which is in part why the governor's changing the elections, because doing it every single year has gotten very expensive. Because we used to vote on one day, and now you vote on 10 days.
Yeah, but why do you need to have early voting for so long? I feel like it's
Is it
so
10 days?
long.
Not our choice.
I know. I feel like you could shorten that and still have a solid, like, whole week of early voting instead of 2 weeks of early voting. I don't know.
Well, it costs a lot to have the people sit there.
Right, and for 10 days seems like a long time.
It does take 2 weeks for my kid to get out here to vote.
All right, well, that's something we'll take up with the
I
governor.
was gonna say, that's not, we have no control over that.
That seems silly. All right.
So I spent time on the interest and earnings
Mhm.
and looked at like what we earned on like the trust and agency account. We didn't have, like, we're earning interest, but I don't know where it's getting. Oh, no, it actually is getting posted in that line. It just wasn't ever reflected in the budget.
Okay.
So I went through and you'll see it's like through August, like our numbers are, like the numbers that I put in the tentative budget are the numbers through August. However, interest rates, I think, did drop just a little bit recently and are projected to continue to fall a little bit.
Mhm.
So I used a blended rate based on that for next year.
Okay.
So we won't be earning as much interest next year.
Wetlands permits. $0.
We moved it.
Okay.
Because
I thought that might be the case.
Yeah, it shouldn't be in the A fund,
Yeah.
it should be in the B fund. And also the expenses of the environmental analyst, the consultant that we hired.
Yeah.
Her
Over budget.
cost is gonna be in the B fund.
Insurance recovery, did that move?
That is, no, that's like, if something happens and we get money back from the insurance company, it's, you know, claim.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna project anything.
No, no, we won't.
Yeah.
Just looking at numbers that have disappeared. Not expecting any of it.
Aid, public safety. So we got a public safety grant.
What line are you on?
84289.
Oh, you're on the next page.
Yes, that's,
Mortgage tax dropped. I'm sorry, I just didn't get
yeah.
that far down the line yet. Okay. Dropped significantly.
Which taxes
Oh, yeah, back on page 24.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, transactions didn't drop, did they?
No, but more of them were cash.
Yeah, more people are paying cash.
So we don't get a mortgage tax,
Mhm.
which hurts our bottom line.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, that's a point. That's,
Oh, yeah.
that's a percentage of our budget.
Mhm. Just at the bottom of page 24, you'll see anticipated the high water rescue vehicle grant. So if for some reason we don't get that grant,
Mhm.
then we'll have to make a decision. Do we fund the whole vehicle next year? If we only budgeted half, or do we take it out until we apply for the grant again?
Okay. Now, the opioid grant
Mm-hmm,
was for 100,000?
mm-hmm,
Mm-hmm.
over 3 years.
Oh, right, so it's kind of broken out, okay.
So it's for 70,000 to cover police overtime while they send somebody to the East End Drug Task Force, plus some of the expenses, and then 30,000 for the social worker, some of her expenses.
Okay.
The community development block grant, I didn't put in the revenues because we didn't put the expenses in.
So we have.
So it's like whatever we get will get used and we'll bump up those expenses to match the revenue line.
Now I'm down in the town clerk. Everybody else?
Yep.
All right. Alarm system penalties.
Mhm.
There's been so many alarms lately. Are we getting all of them?
$3,000 too. How much is it per false alarm?
It's, it depends on, is it your first one, your second one, your third one? So it escalates.
This should be raised, it should.
Oh.
I've already had a discussion with other people, so this is the false alarms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you,
It could probably be raised significantly.
Through September, the actual is 3,500.
So we're talking like $5,000.
So it's 3,500 through
and
September.
that, does that number include the payout to the fire district for, because the fire.
They do their own
That's-
check, the fire district, so
So it's, this number's the
it's
net
just the
number.
town. Mhm.
Okay. So if the number's 3,500 through current, then that means it may have been closer to 7,000.
Yeah.
I'll have to come back around with this and discuss this with you, Amber, because I did
Uh-huh.
notice some things over the years. So this can
Yeah.
be raised, but we'll have to discuss it as to how much.
Yeah, last year we received 3,700.
So maybe we put in 4 as the tentative.
Okay, yeah, but I'll put an asterisk that we come back to it.
Talk to him.
And these false alarms happen just at this building or in other buildings?
Oh, no, these
No,
are
this is
in,
like, you know-
like private homes. If they have repeated false alarms, they have to pay fines, because every time they do, the fire department has to go out and respond, or like the Jeep or the Prydwen have had a lot of them, and, yeah. And they're problematic, because then your volunteers get tired of showing up for everything, and then it's kind of like one of those situations where you have a real fire and you have to wait a couple whistles because
Mhm.
people have to be like, it's an actual fire, guys, you gotta show up.
Yeah.
Because everyone's busy and like, well, it was a shower last time.
Oh, and Amber, we need to sit down and go through that because the fire district did ask if you, like, for a record of false alarms.
Yes, I already sent it to Reeve, Andy
Oh.
Reeve, but I am meeting with him next week, and I spoke with Chief today as well
Oh,
about
good.
some issues.
So this is just money that comes to the town.
Mhm.
There's a separate money that goes to the fire department.
The town, this is the town half, and the other half goes to the fire district. Maybe their revenue line can be increased.
Now you're working too much.
Exactly.
All right, parking permits.
Yeah, so this was up, now that we have September numbers too. It's 97,865 through the end of September.
Okay, and that closes out the,
That closes out the season.
That's pretty good.
but
Very
take it up
good.
to 97,500,
How about 98?
98,000,
Mhm.
okay.
Because I feel like
Oh, goody, we just spent $3,000 between those two lines.
woohoo.
So we're on the income side.
Commercial activity fee,
Mm-hmm.
do we
Yeah, it's
want
pretty
to
low.
look at the amount? I've also heard in the community if we have off-island vendors who don't have a brick and mortar, do we want to increase the fee for?
I mean, that's like.
Like I said, just something that was.
It's $250 to have a business on the beach, right? Yeah, that
Yeah.
might be worth looking at.
We'd have to discuss it and pass a resolution to increase them, but it's just a little tiny revenue raiser. It's obviously, if we
Yeah.
doubled the fee, it would only bring in an extra $2,000, but it's more, we're allowing somebody to use, use public space. It's pretty cheap rent.
It's very cheap. Goes on.
I think filming permits went up, right? We raised the price of those.
Yeah, that was a year or two ago.
Yeah. And then we initiated like the extra fee if
I was
it's
gonna
a
say.
quick turnaround for the permit.
Yeah, you're making us jump through hoops fee.
Yeah, exactly. The your poor planning is not my problem fee.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, outdoor assembly permits were low this year. Like we got the same basic.
We changed the law, so it's less restrictive, so not many people need to really require a permit anymore for outdoor assembly.
We,
It seemed to me $28 on the green options bags.
they haven't really been pushed lately.
No.
I saw one hanging in the clerk's office for
Yeah,
people to
I
see.
think we'll mention it at the next meeting. We still have some left there, right?
Yeah, I have a couple
Maureen?
boxes.
You have a couple boxes? It's like we're pretty accurate on the budget for mooring fees and boat storage fees.
Mhm. Page 26 for EMS revenues. We do get money in for ambulance donations every year, but we don't budget for it because it just goes into the reserve. And then when it's time to buy a new ambulance, then it gets spent.
Okay.
So those monies do come in and offset taxpayers having to pay for ambulances, but it's just, it doesn't need to get reflected in the budget. I raised the fines and forfeits of bail. The numbers have gone up a little bit,
Yeah.
which we had taken it down quite a bit when bail reform came through. Fewer people, not that we have a lot of crimes that require bail on Shelter Island, but I was surprised to see the number going up a little bit. Last year, we received 47,000.
Okay.
Really in bail?
Yeah.
Can we
And, you
lock it
know,
up?
and fines.
Yeah, fine.
It's mostly fines.
Yeah, so through September, it's 45,426, but we've only paid out to the state through the end of July, so we still will owe them.
Oh, so
Because
have
we
to add it
end up
in.
having to owe, yeah, we have to pay the state.
It gets cut.
They send us a bill.
Yeah.
We had a ton of effort.
So yes.
All right.
So yeah, you're probably okay going up a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, it says 40.
I just want to go get water because
Yeah, good part.
I can hang out with the cashew or something.
Thanks.
Ugh. Can't believe our public is not interested in this.
Really? This riveting process? No. Poor Julie. Let's C&D and furniture in. Oh, no. We're okay.
Can explain why C and D was going down. Last year's number is pretty large.
Yeah, I was actually trying to look up last year's number for C&D.
It's 30A.
It was 292,000 last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so much Windsor, actually.
What's it up to through September? Is it through June?
155,688.
Yeah, that would be 207,000. So it picked up a little because through June 30th, it was only 80,000.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he was concerned because that was the number he was working with.
Right.
I mean, we could
From
put it,
292
put
to,
it up to 210 at this point.
yeah.
It has picked up a little bit.
Just trying to think of any big projects that are going on, but most of them look done the demo already.
Mm.
And they usually use containers.
Mm.
It's like the renos, it's like where you get most of the debris.
Can you look up what brush-in is through September?
That's pretty high.
212,537.
That's over last year's by a decent amount. So 212.37?
212,537.
Are leaves different?
Yes.
Because I was gonna say that, we haven't even really gotten to leaf season.
Right.
It's a different brush, okay?
Yeah, brush-in last year, though, was only $155,000.
Yeah.
Right now,
Oh, we're
this year.
already over that.
Yeah, we're there.
Yes. So I took it up, but I didn't know if there was just something unusual this year. But actually, is that where leaves are going?
I mean, we had a pretty wet season. I feel like there's a lot of leaves to fall.
Yeah, actually, let's ask him that question.
Yeah.
Where the program posts leaves to.
Because leaf compost is so low. It
Leaf,
doesn't make sense. I can't
We
be
have-
taking in.
no, leaf compost might be.
We have commercial leaf debris. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
That's on the next page.
okay.
Oh, okay.
A 2655.
There it is. All right. Yeah, leaf compost is
Oh, commercial,
sales,
gotcha.
sales of leaf
Sales
compost.
of leaf, oh, that makes more sense, okay.
Mhm.
I was like, this number does not
Yeah.
make sense.
And maybe Shelley, if you could pull a couple years of totals for Russia, just to go from 155,000 to
Yeah.
212.
212 through September. I don't want to like go too high with revenues when this year's just a blip.
Probably been more clear. Cardboard? Has he just not shipped it out yet, or are we really just not getting that much?
VP.
Hey.
Last year we got 3,800. Is that what you're looking
Yeah.
for? Yeah.
Yeah, 3,800. And this year we have nothing.
Yeah, still nothing.
I think it might not have been shipped yet, because there's any accumulated in one of those trailers back
Yeah, and then
there.
like once the trailer's full, so
Mhm.
4,000 looks right then.
The amount of cardboard that goes through the place. It's like 4,000 is all we get.
I know, right? I guess there's no market for it anymore. No contractor license fee fines, we've had zero. Is that what that means? No contractor license fee?
Yeah. We had $300 last year. But we did set the public hearing for
Yeah.
changing that so we can get that board up and running again, so.
The street opening permits, is that for curb cuts? That's for,
Is it curb cuts or is it like you actually, like someone has to take a line across the road? And so they end up digging up the pavement.
oh,
I think that's I don't think, well, maybe it's both.
it could be both. Usually they just jet under the road now instead of actually like cutting up the asphalt. Like electrical and stuff, they'll just tunnel under.
DE. In 2023, it was 3666. Maybe it's gone down because
Yeah.
they don't have to. You said.
Yeah, I think we've only had one request for a curb cut, and that was Liberty, so it is. We expect more.
They did on the town clerk report, take in $900 in September for that,
Okay.
so,
For curb cut permit?
yeah, street opening permit.
Interesting.
Yes, I don't know the details of that, but
Okay.
yeah, so the revenue through September is 2,459.
So the 3,000 is pretty close if
Yeah,
we stay on that trend.
all right. I just put that in wrong.
They took Ken's number for A2655D, the sales of crushed concrete
Mhm.
sales down from his budget because last year we took in just shy of 25,000 this year. We're trending towards 24,000.
Okay.
Same thing with those sales of light iron.
Soil. Keeping that.
Mhm. Yeah, we're not doing as much on the topsoil this year, but last year, that was 73,000.
I think people do some top dressing and stuff in the fall.
Yeah, hopefully, because
Because I don't want to drop
we're gonna
forever.
hit 65,000.
Mm, We're up in dredge materials, just a wee bit.
Like 2,300 last year.
Yeah. Minimum charge is up. It's over the last person.
Which is why I took it off
Yeah.
Ken's number. Last year it was just above 20,000. We haven't got to leave yet, so that's fine. Yeah, on the leaf. Free. Yeah, we do get most of that in the fall, obviously. So last year we ended the year with 43,000.
Yeah.
When we get down to medical center revenue,
Yep, that's what I was looking at.
the electricity reimbursement
Mhm.
and the fuel reimbursement is over. Because like during COVID, some of those bills didn't get sent out. And actually, that's something, Amber, I want to sit down with Rob and just revisit those numbers. That's it. Just to make sure, because the 1,000.
Yeah, he has it all written up whenever we initially went over it, so I'm sure he has a little spreadsheet that you guys can go over.
Okay, I'm gonna put a note to see Rob. Yeah, because those numbers are low. But it's not gonna be 13,000 and it's not gonna be 6,600, because that's multiple years. So Rob was going through things and said, oh, this just didn't happen during COVID and, somewhere it just got missed, so.
And the rest of these.
I know, because there's not much
Like,
to say about
it's not much to
nutrition
say,
and,
Or residential
Yeah,
repair. Senior services.
Yes. and so you can see some of those county grants kicking back in.
Mhm.
The AAA, mobility. Shopping assistance program.
Yeah.
And when I was looking at these grant monies, I went back and double checked, like, okay, the expenses are offsetting the revenues. Unless one of the programs had a share of some sort.
This revenue sharing, what is that?
That is money that we get from, is it the
Sales tax, I think, from the
Sales.
county.
Yeah, yes, that's from the county.
All right.
there are times when different county execs or will want to like try and change it, but then all the towns usually lobby and say, please don't take that away. That's money that we count on.
Yeah.
Oh, money is money that we count on.
I mean, and if we're getting 223,000, you can imagine what the other towns are getting.
Right. Recreation revenue.
Yeah, so I took Bethany's numbers up.
Yeah, for youth program, she's already over
Mm-hmm.
the 40 that she asked for. If she's already at 44.5, do you think she'll go over the 45 that we budgeted? Or the youth
For youth?
programs? Yeah.
For youth through the end of September, it was 45,883.
The bulk of the fees come in the summertime
Right.
with those programs, but if we got 1,300 in September, maybe in October, November, we might get the same.
Mhm.
December might get a little iffy with the holidays.
3,000?
Yeah, I was gonna say, we could take it up to 48,000. Or even 49,000.
Sure, why not?
Hope is a beautiful thing.
Don't hope too hard.
I have faith in Bethany.
Seems like a lot of people use her after-school program.
Yes.
I think like a big chunk comes from that.
And then Fit Center, where are they through September, do you know?
Yes, 79,017.
So we could probably bump that up a little bit.
Last year, Fit Center came in at 80,604. So it depends on when the renewals are up.
81.
81? And then that new line, the rec fees, community trips, so we have 10,000 of expense and 7,000 of revenues.
Okay.
Okay.
Summer youth programs, youth sports. Okay.
So we get nothing for Taylor's Zone?
Yep. Yeah, big old goose egg.
Yeah, that line's just there, because when they did some renovations, I guess it was maybe on the docks, we got a lot of money from Ken Laval was instrumental in getting us a chunk of money to get the bulkheading and dock repair done.
Gee, what did I do to make my cover sheet show 5.7%? I deleted something.
Yeah.
I messed up my calculations.
It's moved the right way.
I mean, I love it. I
Yeah.
love that journey
That's
for us.
impossible.
I just don't know how realistic that is.
That is impossible.
I feel like something, as Joe would say, I've done a catastrophic sorting error. Unless I add an extra zero somewhere and I put in a couple million instead of 100,000. Scan my zeros.
All right, so we've now just gone through the A fund. We're gonna let you work out your spreadsheet
Oh, it's
another time.
process.
So we've just gone through which is probably a good place to stop. We've got Judah and to talk about the employees and go over.
Sounds
Not to mention my head's about to explode.
And then we will pick this up tomorrow from 9 until 12 and from 1 until 4. So we've got tomorrow coming in. In the morning, we've got Kelly and Mary Faith to go over justice court. Yeah, tomorrow's the 11th. And we don't have anybody in the afternoon session. I don't know why they don't want to come here on Friday afternoon. But the A fund is obviously the biggest. It's got the most revenues. It's also got the most departments. So we should be able to get through B, DA, and DB tomorrow of, our initial pass. And then next week, we have Friday, the 18th that we'll be working on, both morning session and afternoon session. And then we have more people. We have Joe coming in and Reed Karen coming in on the Tuesday, the 22nd, that morning session. And Chief coming in on Thursday, the 24th. But we will need to get out the pens.
Yeah.
Try and figure
I
out
mean,
how
or we could just use my spreadsheet, because the magic that happened with that cover sheet is pretty sweet.
It's a better number.
Yeah,
I mean,
except when
I just don't know.
Judith puts it in the real program,
I don't know how it got to
her math would be
5%.
correct.
I have to figure out what the calculation is that. H15 to C15. Here's H.
Thank you for those in attendance, I guess on YouTube or Channel 22, and Julie Lane for sitting through it live with us. So we will,
Public portion's not, huh?
yeah, so we'll
Go into.
a motion to
So moved.
go into the executive session and then adjourn the meeting until tomorrow at 9 a.m.
So
Second.
moved.
Okay,